Welcome to this Masterclass Explainer. Whether you're a professional navigating the workplace or a dedicated adult student gearing up for a huge exam, you've probably hit that one really frustrating wall in English. Believe it or not, English actually does not have a single dedicated future tense. Crazy, right? Instead, we're stuck relying on this kind of patchwork of verbs, structures, and context clues to express what hasn't happened yet. For adult learners, this basically turns predicting the future into a complete grammar minefield. But hey, don't worry, today we're going to clear that minefield and give you the exact tools you need to express your future with absolute confidence.
So here's our roadmap for today. 1. Spontaneous versus planned. 2. Predictions and arrangements. 3. Top 5 exam traps. 4. Interactive exercises. And 5. A quick cheat sheet. This roadmap is going to give you everything you need to conquer those exam traps and communicate flawlessly.
Section 1. Spontaneous versus planned futures. Okay, let's dive into this. To really master the future, we have to start with a foundational rule of English time travel. You've got to choose your tense based on whether your action is a spontaneous reaction or a premeditated plan. To help lock this into your long-term memory, let's think about a real-world analogy. The word will is kind of like a spontaneous reflex. Imagine you accidentally knock a glass off a table and you instantly reach out to catch it. Bam! You didn't plan it, you just reacted in the moment, right? On the flip side, going to is much more like executing a prepared project plan. The decision was already made in the past, and right now you're just carrying out the steps for the future. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how context cues signal which form to use. Say you're having a conversation and suddenly realize, oh, we're out of milk. You make an instant decision right there on the spot. I will buy some. But let's say you already checked the fridge this morning and you literally have your shopping bags in your hand. That's a prior intention. So you'd say, I am going to buy some milk. Paying attention to whether the decision happens during the conversation or before the conversation, that is your golden key.
Moving on to Section 2, Predictions and Professional Arrangements. That takes care of our own decisions, but what about the world around us? Let's transition over to how we predict future events and make professional arrangements, especially in workplace settings.
Making predictions can be a bit tricky because both will and going to can technically be grammatically correct, but they mean completely different things. You're going to want to use will when you're making a prediction based on a gut feeling or just a personal opinion, like, I think it will rain even if the sky is totally blue. But if there is physical, present evidence literally right in front of you, you absolutely must use going to. Visual trigger words in an exam, like, look at those clouds, are your biggest cue. The clouds are the evidence, so the only correct answer there is, it is going to rain. Now, here is a major pitfall where beginners often get tripped up. They tend to confuse will or going to with the present continuous. The absolute strict rule here is that the present continuous cannot be used to guess or predict an outcome, like an exam result. You can't just say, you're failing the exam unless you study, as a prediction. The correct form is, you're going to fail. The present continuous is strictly reserved for fixed diary arrangements that have a set time and place. It is not for guessing what the universe might do. And while we're talking about professional settings, we really need to talk about shall. In formal British English contexts, shall is actually used instead of will for offers and suggestions with I or we. Saying something like, shall I organize the meeting? Or shall we eat out today? Instantly elevates the professionalism of your sentence. It adds this really nice layer of politeness and formality that will sometimes lacks in business communication.
All right, Section 3, Top 5 Common Exam Traps. Be on your guard, folks, because we are now entering the trap zone. Even students who completely understand the theory frequently lose points on these common spelling and usage mistakes. So let's review them right now so you don't fall in. So, the crucial point is this table right here. Look really closely at error number 1. In English, every single sentence absolutely needs a subject. Dropping the subject and just saying, we'll go to the store, instead of I will go, is a super frequent and costly exam error. You'll also see learners forgetting the verb to be when they use going to. So they'll write, they going to travel, instead of the correct, they are going to travel. And let's definitely emphasize error number 4, correcting verb conjugation errors after auxiliary verbs. This is an absolute classic trap. Because the subject is he, students instinctively want to add an S to the verb, right? They want to write, he will goes.
But the ironclad rule of English grammar is that after the auxiliary verb will, you must always, always use the base form of the verb. He will go. Literally no exceptions. Section 4, Interactive Future Tense Exercises. Okay, you've absorbed the theory brilliantly. Now it's time to put all of this into practice with a few workplace scenarios.
Here is your first interactive exercise. Imagine this. A client calls you up and cancels a meeting. Right there on the phone, you instantly offer to reschedule. Ask yourself, do you use a spontaneous structure or a planned structure here? Think about it for just a second. Well, if you chose spontaneous, you are absolutely correct. Because it's an instant reaction to the client's cancellation, you have to use will and say, I will reschedule it. Now, if you were discussing an event that your team had already planned 3 weeks ago, then you'd use going to, like, we are going to have a seminar. Let's try another one. Scenario 2. You're walking down the hallway at work and you see a colleague struggling with this massive, heavy box. I mean, they look like they're about to drop it. Do you say, I am going to help you? Or do you say, I'll help you? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the subtle nuance. Saying, I am going to help you kind of implies this was your pre-existing plan, like you somehow knew they were going to struggle with the box before you even walked into the hallway. But because this is a spontaneous offer to assist in the workplace, right at the very moment you see the problem, will is the perfect choice. You simply say, I'll help you with that. Okay, let's do a quick, short quiz. Can you spot the specific error in this spontaneous future statement? The sentence is, wait a minute, I shall lend you my car. Did you catch it? So while shall is absolutely great for formal offers and suggestions, when we're making an immediate, spontaneous decision to solve the problem like this, standard modern English heavily prefers the contraction apostrophe double L. So instead of saying I shall lend you, or using the present simple I lend you, the correct and honestly much more natural form is I'll lend you my car. Finally, Section 5, the 3-point cheat sheet. Wow, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground today. To wrap up this masterclass, I've summarized the core differences we just learned into a quick 3-point reference guide that you can easily visualize on exam day. Here's your cheat sheet. Number 1, will is your absolute go-to for instant decisions, spontaneous offers, and gut feeling predictions where you have no evidence. Number 2, going to is reserved for your prepared plans, intentions, and predictions backed by obvious, visible evidence. And number 3, the present continuous is for your diary arrangements. You know, those fixed events that have a specific, confirmed time and date. Burn this into your memory for sure. Remember, mastering the context of your future is the key to mastering your exams. Grammar really isn't just about memorizing rules, it's about understanding the real-world situation around you. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. The very next time you find yourself speaking English, take a split second to ask yourself, am I reacting in the moment or am I revealing a plan? Which specific future form are you going to choose in your very next conversation?